Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome to this week's card. Today I'm using the Penny Black Social Butterfly stamp set and some watercolor paper. I'm using Strathmore watercolor paper, and I'll have a link to it on my blog if you're interested in. And I'm also using some Simon Says Stamp dies. I'm showing you how I store my dies on these magnetic cards, and I'll also have a link to these cards on my blog. It's part of my new craft room. So anyway, I'm going to take this postage stamp die, and I'm going to use some of this masking tape. It comes in a 2-roll pack, and I'm just going to use that to hold it in place, and then I'm going to run it through my Sizzix machine. Okay, so now I have a cup of water and this brush, which is kind of a medium-sized brush, and 3 Derwent Inktense pencils. And I'm going to start by dipping my brush into some water, and then I'm going to touch my brush to the pencil to get the color, and then I'm just going to swipe it across my cardstock, my watercolor paper here. And I'm going to like alternate between the colors, so I'm just going to leave some space so I can do all my blues, and then all the purples, and then all the grays at the same time. And if you want more color, you just use less water, and then if you want less color, you just use more water. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with the purple, and when I started here I kind of had a little bit too much water on my brush, so I just took some water off using just a paper towel, and then went back and added a little bit more color. I'm just going to swipe it across. Alright, I'm going to speed this up. And you can make it as dark or as light as you want. You can always go back and add more. It actually comes out even darker if you wait till it dries and then you add more. Alright, so here's my final color, which is kind of a grayish color here. I'm just going to fill in these gaps. And then after I was done, I kind of decided I wanted it to be a little bit darker. So at this point, the other 2 colors had dried. It dries pretty quickly. So I went back and added less water, just a little bit more color with my purple and my blue. And it's okay if they overlap. It's just sort of a kind of a messy watercolor look. I'm going to let that dry, and then I cut another small piece of the watercolor paper. And I'm just going to color the whole thing purple. It's going to be my sentiment. And somehow I just totally overloaded the water here, as you can see. So I slowed it down so that you can see what you can do here. You just blot it with a paper towel, and almost all the color comes off. I just did one little blot, but if you kept blotting it, you'd almost end up with your original white cardstock. So I'm just going to let that dry, come back. I'm going to take my butterfly, and I'm going to ink it up with some Versa Fine ink. And I'm going to stamp it in place. Now I'm going to take the Stamp-A-Majig, and I'm going to put it in place there because I want to stamp it twice, because the watercolor paper has a little bit of texture to it, and I really want a good solid black image here. And my paper was kind of popping up a little bit, so I just adhered it to my craft sheet so it would stay still. And then I figured, well, what the heck, I might as well do it one more time. So inked it up one more time, and that Stamp-A-Majig helps you put it directly on top of what you previously stamped. Alright, now I'm going to take the sentiment. It's just part of a Hero Arts Everyday Sayings, and then I'm going to trim that out. Now I wanted the edge of the sentiment to be the same as the panel with the butterfly on it. So I'm just going to place it where I'm going to put it on the panel, and then I'll take a piece of masking tape to hold it in place there and run it through the Sizzix. And that way it'll line up just right. Alright, now I wanted the sentiment to stand out just a little bit, so I took the brush tip of my Stampin' Up! Black marker, and I just gently ran it along the sides of the sentiment. And you want to be really careful because you don't want it to be thick in one area, thin in another. So just if you keep it kind of just slanted a little bit, you'll get just a touch of black. You can see how it doesn't look like it's matted on black, but it does have some kind of outlining to it. Okay, and because the watercolor paper warps just a little bit, I decided to adhere it with some tape runner rather than some dimensional adhesive. I'm going to add some pearls, and Stampin' Up! Has a really great set of pearls. It comes with so many different ones of the same size. I hate when you get a package and there's like 3 of the same size. So I just kind of picked out a few sizes that I wanted, and you can color them with Copic markers. And this is just a black Copic marker, 110. And I just color them and then use a paper piercer to pick them up. Try not to touch them for a little while. They will dry, but it just takes a little while. And I adhered those down. And that's pretty much it. You can see my butterfly has some empty parts to it, so you can see the watercolor behind it, and that was kind of what I was aiming for. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.